Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light-skin lottery? Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family.
You could hear a pin drop when Kevin Hart walked on stage at the 2025 BET Awards. The air was electric. Phones were raised, anticipation high, the crowd bracing for the first punchline. But no one, absolutely no one, expected the verbal grenade he was about to throw. Kevin looked straight into the camera, paused, smirked, and said, "You know what I love about Meghan Markle? She's like a Pinterest board that came to life, and then hired a PR team to filter it." The room detonated. Laughter, gasps, hands over mouths. And just like that, Meme Meg was trending worldwide.
Meghan Markle's podcast has ended its 8-episode run, and there are no plans to release a second season at this point. What a surprise.
But this wasn't just comedy. It was a moment, a shift, a televised takedown that signaled something bigger. Meghan Markle's carefully constructed image was cracking in real time. What made it sting even more? Meghan wasn't even there. Not by choice, though. According to insiders, she wanted to be at the BET Awards. She reached out, made requests, sent feelers, but organizers reportedly shut it down before her name even made it to the shortlist. Their reasoning? Her presence would distract from the purpose of the show, a celebration of Black excellence, not brand management. That was the message.
Reaction has been wild. Meghan wasn't twerking. She was shaking loose what little class she had left. And rumor has it Lily came out holding a ring light and a non-disclosure agreement.
Not just a rejection, but a reminder. Meghan, once hailed as a modern icon, had been politely but firmly told, not this time. And the fact that it happened so publicly only amplified the blow. It didn't help that this moment came on the heels of one of her most high-profile flops, with Love Meghan, her much-hyped Netflix series. What was marketed as an intimate, heartfelt look at motherhood and identity turned out to be something else entirely. Viewers expected vulnerability and depth. What they got was lemon-wrapped branding and choreographed kitchen scenes.
Over the top, like we're all supposed to go, Maureen, to make our breakfast in the morning, out to our gardens and pick our berries, our raspberries, our strawberries, our blueberries, our snozberries, and cut our mint, and then cut our flowers that are edible. But don't worry, she's a woman of the people. You can grow those just on your windowsill at home.
Sure. Critics didn't hold back. One called it a narcissist's daydream. Another said it felt like vomit with filters. The damage was instant. Viewership plummeted after the first episode. Audiences clicked in out of curiosity and clicked out with a bad taste in their mouths. The glossy perfection Meghan once used as a calling card had started to work against her. That Netflix disaster marked the beginning of a much deeper issue. Meghan was losing control of the narrative. For years, she'd managed to stay 10 steps ahead of the tabloids. Carefully planned interviews, perfectly lit photos, emotional confessions designed to pull just the right strings. But Kevin Hart's roast wasn't scripted. It wasn't part of a glossy magazine spread. It was live, raw, and completely out of her control.
Also, I'm a little bit fascinated, right? The mother was born in America, the father was born in America, but Meghan is now telling us that she's 43% Nigerian?
Her team scrambled afterward, floating stories about prior engagements to explain her absence. But the damage was done. The truth slipped out. She didn't decline the invitation. She never had one. Behind closed doors, insiders say she was livid, not just because she was the butt of a joke, but because she had no way to spin it. No narrative, no filter. This wasn't the British press she could accuse of bias. It wasn't a Hollywood red carpet where she could cry on cue and reset the story. This was comedy. And in comedy, if you're the punchline, you don't get to rewrite the script.
Why don't you like her?
Let me count the ways. There's nothing I like about her. She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small.
Yeah.
The queen was mean to me.
And that's when things really started to spiral. Hollywood, which once bent over backwards to praise her, began to quietly distance itself. Invitations to major events stopped arriving. Streaming executives started asking questions about ROI. Even fashion brands, once eager to dress her, now directed their attention elsewhere. She had gone from sought after to complicated, risky, a potential liability, a distraction. Then came Catherine Ryan's tweet. It didn't name names, but it didn't have to.
A fake kitchen with a fake, I think she's a fake royal, and making some fake food and pretending that they're great friends. I don't think Dolly should have to suffer in that way.
Real stars don't need scripted sympathy or curated tears. Posted just hours after the BET Awards, the internet immediately knew who it was aimed at. The timing was surgical. The message was clear. And Meghan's silence in response was even louder. No statement, no counter-narrative. No slickly edited Instagram reel to reset the vibe. Just silence. And in PR, silence is rarely a sign of confidence. It's the sound of strategy breaking down. What made it worse was how deeply her image had relied on being seen as authentic. That word had followed her everywhere. Until suddenly, it didn't.
As we've spoken about, this show has completely underperformed. It did not really appear on the Spotify charts. This was, of course, the podcast that she made with Lemonada Media. It's still unclear, actually, about what money has come from this podcast.
Every new post felt more forced. Every appearance looked like it had been photoshopped by a committee. The woman once praised for being vulnerable and bold now seemed distant and mechanical. Even a casual photo with her daughter triggered backlash. Why so many photos of one kid and none of the other? One commenter asked. A quote about transparency in mental health earned nothing but eye rolls. The message was clear. People weren't buying it anymore. And in response, Meghan didn't slow down. She doubled down. There were whispers of a new podcast, murmurs about launching a boutique wellness brand, even talks of a wine label, and luxury hotel line surfaced. It felt less like a comeback and more like a desperate scramble. Throw enough projects at the wall, something might stick. But it didn't feel strategic. It felt like panic. All of this pointed to one brutal reality. Meghan Markle is going through an identity crisis, and it's unfolding in full view of the public. Is she the rebel duchess who took on the monarchy? The Hollywood insider producing thought-provoking content? The modern mom building a brand around empathy? Or the misunderstood celebrity constantly battling bad press? The truth is, she's tried to be all of them. But in doing so, she's become none of them. The roles change, the branding updates, the outfits shift. But at the core, nothing feels real. And when people can't connect with something real, they eventually stop trying. Meanwhile, her inner circle is reportedly shrinking. PR advisors are leaving. Netflix executives are reconsidering future collaborations. Her Spotify deal? Gone. Her podcast? Quiet. Even fashion media, once obsessed with her, has moved on to newer, more resonant stars.
She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human.
I mean, when I listen to Meghan, I am just reminded that there's nothing authentic there.
You're never going to convince anyone that you're authentic.
Meghan's influence is evaporating. Not with a scandal, not with a tabloid bombshell, but with something far worse in Hollywood: irrelevance. And it all leads back to that one moment. Kevin Hart standing on stage, delivering a single unscripted joke that cracked her entire image. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't vulgar, it was honest. Too honest. It held up a mirror to how people really see her now. Not as a trailblazer, Not as a victim, but as a brand that's outlived its appeal. Bet didn't just reject her attendance. They sent a message. And that message echoed far beyond the auditorium walls. It said, "This show is about authenticity. And right now, you don't represent that." Meghan thought she was stepping into a new era. But instead, she's watching her empire unravel, piece by piece. The woman who once captivated the world is now struggling to get a call back. The industry that once hailed her is now politely moving on. Not with scandal, not with headlines, but with something colder: silence. And in that silence is a message louder than any roast. If Meghan Markle doesn't stop branding and start being real, the story of her fall won't end with redemption. It'll end with an empty seat no one's saving anymore.